What's going on? It's Justeeni here, and today I'm going to be showing you my run through the Tournament of Champions Bullet, which I managed to qualify for. And this is a 16-player, single elimination Bullet tournament. And if you guys don't know what Bullet is, it's a tiny dry, host skips turn 0, and it's mirror matches each time. And this is a best 3 of 5, because these matches tend to go by pretty quickly. And so this is my very first match against Icy Inferno. Let's just get right into things. So I skip turn 0, of course. I go for this double archer opening with the intention of trying to explore the center, though I kind of explored it a little prematurely and lost my archer. This is still kind of survivable because I can deny them the village, but they make things very annoying for me. And from this point, I get the one village that I know I can get. I keep them off of this village. They're pressuring me very well, and I'm just trying to hang on with my units. I go for an explorer here. It's a very risky explorer, but I knew I was kind of in a bad position. Like, if they have 3 cities or are just, going to be ahead in development from how those early interactions went, I have to take a risk, but it didn't pan out at all. And from this point, yeah, this isn't going to well. I can tell that they're going to be on quite a few cities, and the best I can hope for is some bad micro, but their micro is quite good here. They've got a 2 out of 3 archer, which I cannot stop. I do get a pop ruin, which does allow me to get a giant, but they do also have a border growth. They are getting a giant themselves. And like, I'm trying to get some counterplay, but it's not looking all that promising. They're holding on to this 3 out of 3 kill archer because they know I can't kill it. So they're just going to leave it until it gets damaged, and then it's going to go, yep, there it is. And very wisely here also, picking off my support units, leaving this giant untouched because it's not actually a threat if there is no support. I get a star rune, but even that is not enough. I just don't have really any options here. There's math. And as much as I can try to do something, they just have tons of archers. And they're definitely getting some more super units. And so I just resign here. So pretty quick game 1. We'll go ahead and cut to the next match. All right, so next match, this time I'm not hosting, and it's barter. I have a very good spawn, lots of fruit, and I decided to go for early riding because there are some force impeding, but not too much. Then it makes riding not work, and I think with Org, it allows me to level up pretty quickly. I go for an explorer here, hoping to meet the opponent nice and early. And I do meet them. They were off to not the best start expansion-wise. So, and it looks like they went for archers. And riders do pretty well into archers, so I'm feeling pretty nice about this. So I start pressuring, I snag this, kind of force their archers to defend this rather than the ruin. So then I can just take the ruin here. And yep, that's exactly what happens. I get an Explorer Ruins. Now, it's going to get this lighthouse, so I don't actually have to get it. It's going to get this northern area for free. And then I don't get Org Precap, which I think is just a misplay here. Yeah, Org Precap is worth it because I upgrade my capital. So not actually a good play there. And because I can't train a rider on my capital, they're going to start to contest the northern area. But now I can upgrade my capital. And then now I get Org. And I decide to get an Explorer. Now it is not guaranteed to go here, but it's possible. It's somewhat likely. I don't know the exact odds, but it is doable. It can get there if it randomly bounces around to the point where it can see this, which I think is like either 4 or 5 tiles where it'll then be able to see this. And if it does, I get a giant on my capital because I get Eye of God. And it bounces around, bounces some more, but then it goes, and it gets it. Gets that lighthouse just barely. And now I can do a lot of upgrading. I can slam down a giant on turn 7. And I placed the Park of Fortune here, which is, the point of it is to get more riders. I could have placed it here as well to get a second giant faster. It's tough to say which is better. I do like getting the riders because they have archers to counter my giant, but I think either or here, honestly. They're starting to level up with forestry, which will be a bit slow and a bit expensive. And I've got plenty of time to start attacking because they just don't have a lot of time to deal with this. Eventually I'm going to get roads as well, and it's just going to be a nightmare for them. Get a pop ruin and a star ruin. So I didn't even need the monument for the giant, and I can start to clear things away, completely winning here. So it's 1-1. So next person who wins 2 more games has this in the bag. Cut to the next match. All right, so this time Zabasi. I'm also not hosting. I think we played the tribes slightly out of order, and that's why I'm not hosting this time. But I go workshop. I have a nice lighthouse spawn, and I decide to go for early riding. I don't think this is actually best. I'm not gonna lie. This game at least was played a while ago, and I was not quite as good at bullet. I definitely training a warrior on turn 1 is worth it, but this is what I go with instead. I get the double riders, I get the lighthouse, so then I can get 3 riders. So things do pan out at least. And I do find a nice early ruin. I can explorer. And I've got good vision over the center. They're getting their second city. There could be a third city down here as well. That is a possibility, so it's something I need to be mindful of. If they're walking down there, I need to stop them if it's a village, otherwise they're simply up. And I'm putting this rider here. It can be hit by the warrior, but again, as I mentioned before, I don't want them moving this warrior down here. I'm completely okay with them hitting here. This is terrible for them, because yes, they damage my rider, but then the warrior is right here where my riders can come in. So I'm kind of enticing them to attack. They go here, which tells me that's a village, or a ruin, or something important. And it is a village, sure enough. And I am also able to hop on this ruin. I don't stay on the village because they could kick me off if they get like roads or something. So I'm just ready to pounce on it if they try to. And also another reason why I go like here, because this seems like a weird place to escape. I do it not actually for the ruin, I wasn't expecting to be there, but for the lighthouse. Because if I get this, I just need to get this and I get Eye of God. Simple as that. I get a resource ruin, and the reason why I don't go for this lighthouse right now is because I know that I'm going to get it later. Whereas with the ruin, they're most likely to get it later. And yeah, I go for border growth on my capital, kind of seeing the opponent just copying them. And also the border growth is pretty good because it's going to let me get a lot of giants as opposed to just 1 or 2. Because I have the means of getting giants. And this is why I get roads, is because... or this is why I opened the ruin earlier, is because I know if I get roads, I am going to get this probably like next turn or the turn after. So I'm not particularly worried. Like, it doesn't look like I'm getting it yet. But now you can see if I play this correctly, I actually don't remember if I played this correctly. I do get the lighthouse here. It's actually really obvious. You can just kill this rider, which has 2 out of 3 anyway. You want to kill the rider. Yeah, good job, Justeeni. You found the play. Get that lighthouse. Get that one too, thanks to the mountain. And then I can slam down Eye of God, get that second giant going. And I do have potential for even more giants. I rode this over here, just claiming this easy third city. They get a giant of their own, 2 giants. They don't have Eye of God, notably. You can see that they don't have this lighthouse, which they're never getting. They might be able to get this one, but it's also tricky. So I am up a monument effectively, and I just kind of take this. I don't really want an explorer off of it. And if I get a workshop, it's likely to get siege, so I don't care about upgrading it a whole lot. I just have the stars too, so that's why I upgrade it. And I start pressuring here just to kind of force them to do something about it. They counter pressure here, and we're just kind of trading units, doing all that. I hopefully am vet assigning. I am vet assigning, good. Always vet assign, especially in bullet. And I don't actually bother to send a giant here to defend. I send the giant here, allowing them to siege. Which seems a little risky, especially because they support with the giant. So even if I do unsiege, it's very costly and they're just going to do it again. And they're going to win the city, by the looks of things. Pretty bad, right? But I planned for this. I knew they're going to try something like this. They're very aggressively here, doing all this. And it looks really bad because, yes, I unsiege and I save things. But again, they're just going to walk the other giant on. And I only have this giant and some injured units to defend. Okay, I capture this. Get some more units. Get another workshop. I do misplay this. I could have gone resources had I not trained the units first. And again, laying all the pressure on so we can win this city. He's going to be able to kill some of my riders. And it looks like I'm not going to be able to unsiege this. And I can't, but I send this giant in. And this was my plan the whole time, as I knew. He's going to get this, but he's not going to be ready for the crackback. That's just going to be too much for him. And if he walks away, then I just keep it. And I already killed one of his giants. I'm in a phenomenal position here, up 2 cities and keeping all of them to get gate of power for another giant. I am up way, way too much for them to recover here. They resign, and I managed to win this game by winning these villages. So now I just need one more win to close things out. I'll go ahead and cut to the next match. All right, so we got a Luxor match this time. I'm hosting, which you do have a slight host advantage because that extra star per turn with Lux, even with passing the turn. And I opt to go for turn 1 rider. This is a pretty common idea when you're hosting. Unfortunately, I meet the opponent with my warrior and not my rider. So a little bit of a misplay perhaps, because if I met with the rider first, I could have killed their warrior, stepped on the ruin, had a nice day. Instead, they get this city right in the middle, right in front of me. And then this city. Wait, that's all the cities on the map, right? Yeah, they just took these, and I can't do a thing about it. There's no villages like down here. There's nothing up here. The reason why I'm exploring up here is I'm hoping for a ruin to get like a vet sword or something to then steal one of those cities. But this is quite a bad spot. I don't have a lot here, and I don't upgrade this because I want to funnel a good explorer. If I don't funnel it, it's just going to go to the corner, most likely. Not guaranteed, but you don't want to risk it. There's not really any reason to risk it here. So there are some ruins. If I can get some really nice ruins, maybe like double pop or stars and pop or just pop ruin in general, let's be honest. I need a pop ruin, but it's an out. It's something I can play for. They have very poorly developed city there. Very bad resources, maybe, just maybe. I also was very close to getting Eye of God with the Explorer, but if this is an Explorer, I reveal this lighthouse, I get Eye of God, that's another thing I could get. Unfortunately, they steal this rune from me. And yeah, it's not good. They get Eye of God too. And at this point, I know I am completely toast. They get the giant too. Yeah, no. So now it is 2-2. Next game decides it all. And I'll go ahead and cut to that. All right, final game. I'm not hosting this time. IMO also has a slight host advantage here because of Altar of Peace. But let's just get right into things. So I just step right here on the center right away. Usually stepping on the center like this is a terrible idea. But the reason why I do it is because it's IMO. If the opponent attacks me, they lose their Altar of Peace. I can potentially find a village here, so I'm going to still have villages to work with. And I'm also going to have Altar of Peace for some more unit space. But I meet them here instead. And that tells me they're definitely somewhere over here. I get Workshop. The reason why is because I'm going to be going straight into Archery. And I also don't want to bother funneling the Explorer. I'm just going to spam some units. Get Altar of Peace right here for more unit space. Archery. And at this point, they also get Archery. This is an extremely common thing in IMO Bullet, by the way. Like, Archery is just what you do, basically. And I have really good control of the middle. They only have 2 cities. One capital city over here, and then this is not their capital because it's not underlined. I get climbing because there's a lot of mountains. And I'm just killing all their units. I am up a city, just straight up. I have a good economy. Lots of units. I snag a quick veteran warrior, and there's another village here. And they just call it. This is the first round and I win 3-2. The next matches get absolutely nuts. So if this was kind of boring, yeah, this was not the most exciting set, but the next ones are crazy. So stick around for that. Hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub, and have a good one.